Let's do it. Okay.
The strange, the bizarre, the funny, and the sad. In a world of algorithmic nightmares, these are the stories you find when you scroll too long. All the facts, all the absurdity, none of the fluff. This is Doomscrollin with your hosts, Sam Tripoli and Midnight Mike.
Oh, another shot of this was right.
All right, we're back.
We're in it. Look at us. We're in it. We're in it. We're making British food. We're in it. Guys, welcome to Doomscrollin, episode 3 of the new era. I'm Sam Tripoli. This is Midnight Mike. You know him from our Big Dumb Mouth podcast. Check that out. Links will be below. Thank you to everybody talking about my podcast. If you want to see me live, I'm going to be in Tampa Bay soon. Then I'll be in Cancun. Then I got a nice run going through in 2023. Very excited. How are you, Mike?
I am doing very well. Very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy. Well, it's an honor to do it again. You guys love the show. We're doing great numbers on video for a show that is back at it. And Midnight Mike has been kind enough to make an RSS feed. Bah, 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 bah.
Well, we're trying to figure that out. We're going to get the podcast up and going. We're working with Libsyn, trying to repurpose some old feeds, but we're going to get that going for everyone real soon. Yes.
Yeah, so you'll be able to listen to this if you can't watch it at work or whatever. So we're in it. So so we have a new thing on the show, Mike. How do you want to? How would you describe it to everybody?
So I would describe this as the Wheel of Doom. All the videos that we accumulate and find over the week or however long, we throw them into the Wheel of Doom. We spin it at random, and then whatever plays. Now, this is the first incarnation of the Wheel of Doom. It could be a big stinkeroo. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen.
No, we do not know. We will learn as you learn if this idea is going to work or not.
I don't know.
But that's why we're doom scrolling. You never know with doom scrolling.
I don't know. This is goofy. When I have time to program, I do goofy shit. So, let's get the Wheel of Doom.
I'm trying not to do Wheel of Fortune, but I really want to. Okay, but Wheel of Doom.
Wheel of Doom.
Yes.
All right, let's spin the Wheel of Doom right now. Here we go. Play it.
$1.
Come on.
$1.
If your history teacher can explain this. The structure that was found in 1994, called the Gobekli Tepe, has thrown off archaeology. They've been teaching forever that the Sumerians are the ones that had the first written language. But they found Gobekli Tepe, which is a structure that dates back to 11,600 years ago. At that time, these pillars weighed up to 10 tons each. They have these intricate carvings on them. Gobekli Tepe existed 6,000 years before the Sumerians and 7,000 years before Stonehenge and the pyramids. What they found that was so crazy is that these carvings have these very intricate layouts of the star constellations. And there's the star constellation called Vulture Stone. It depicts the alignment of the stars and the sun. It was a prediction of when the flood was going to happen. Every culture has a flood story. So the flood that the whole world talks about, that happened 5,000 years ago. This pillar is 11,000 years old and predicted the flood to the exact year.
Wow. Couple things. One, Wheel of Doom is great.
It works.
Big success. Congratulations, scientist Midnight Mike. Your creation was a success. Second of all, I'm in, dude. Who knows how old we are?
It appears that we're way older than mainstream archaeologists. I think most of us can agree. I guess the conspiracy community, we know where this civilization or humankind, mankind, is way older than what they say mainstream. And certainly mainstream Egyptologists, they kind of date everything back to 2000 BC, and it doesn't work out. Obviously, they're fudging the numbers, and Graham Hancock is onto something. He might not be right on everything, but he's definitely onto something.
Right. He's not hitting every ball, but he's hitting enough to be worthy of playing every game. And I'm with you on that, man. And the big problem with archaeology right now is that the community doesn't want to admit they're wrong, right? They're like your stubborn dad. It's like, come on, Dad, your timeline's wrong. Nope, because then they'd have to admit everything's wrong. And then the old guard is irrelevant. And everything they've been selling, everything they've been doing is like irrelevant. So, we had somebody in the comment section comment that Earth is 6,000 years old. I don't know. It could easily be that, or it could be way older, like way, way older. We don't know, dude. It is so interesting, right?
If you listen to certain people, like Jason from Jason Archaics, he thinks that we're in a simulation and that it resets every 140 years. So it could be incredibly short amount of time that we're here. It just seems like it's older, depending on the simulation. The reality we live in is a wacky place. So I don't discount anything at this point.
I totally agree, dude. I do. When people get into like numerology, symbolism, all that stuff, it makes me start thinking more and more we're in some kind of program.
Mm-hmm.
That's
why I'm kind of leaning in that direction. As uncomfortable as that may be, that's the way it is.
I think the first time you came on Tinfoil Hat, I think that's what we talked about.
Yeah,
right?
we did. I talked about it from a programmer's perspective, and I think maybe since that time, my beliefs and thoughts have changed about it. But some of the core programming things that I talked about are true. And if we live in a simulation, I believe there's a way to access the API, the interface. It's just it's elusive to most people.
I'm in it. Let's see the Wheel of Fortune again. Here we go.
Wheel of Doom. Here we go.
Wheel of Doom.
Big money. Big money.
Big money. Here we go. What do we
Come on.
got? Oh,
Come on.
This is Kanye West, not Kanye. And by the end of the video, you will agree. 2019, he dropped an album called Jesus is King, where he often attended and hosted Sunday services. His next album was Donda. That's 2 straight albums without cuss words. The guy clearly changed his life. He then started to expose the industry, especially his ex-wife Kim Kardashian, because she supported Balenciaga and their horrific ad campaign. He then started to expose every celebrity, saying that they're all controlled and he will no longer be controlled, and everyone sacrificed someone.
They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
No, not you, man.
But they can't control me. You see, it ain't no name I won't name. My mama was sacrificed. Michael Jordan, what about him? His daddy, right? Bill Cosby, his son, right? Dr. Dre, his son.
After things started to get deeper and deeper in this video, he said, if I ever disappear and come back, it is not me. He literally said in this freestyle, just watch how they're gonna clone me.
That God is the only, the real, not the phony. The phony will clone me. Just watch how they cloned me. Hey, look at
Well, what happened? He disappeared, came back, looks like a completely different person. His teeth is different. There's something that happened with his lip. He married someone that looks extremely similar to Kim K. But not only that, the darkest part of it all, his new album features Playboy Carti in multiple different songs, who's the most demonic rapper in the industry and went against everything he was talking about. I mean, his merch is literally repping Satan.
Damn. That's all I gotta say is damn.
Kanye, he's a true artist. He's a true artist.
He's one of the best ever do it. I mean, like literally, he's like one of the best making the best beats. And then his rapping's great. Sometimes he raps his own words with his own words. But the question is, do you think they're at that level of cloning?
I don't know. I don't put anything past the super secret underground government. There are stories like Donald Marshall that have been pretty big on the.
What's your thoughts on him?
Man, I don't know enough about him. I know about the story, but I haven't spent the time to watch all the videos. I like the idea of this, but it's also super creepy to think that they could clone somebody that exact and replace you with basically a pod person, and much of the world is none the wiser. It's creepy, but there are stories like this, especially in the UFO abduction phenomenon, where your loved one gets abducted and they're replaced with a pod person. They're acting all weird, bumping into tables, not knowing how to use microwaves, and they're a pod person. So, yeah, I think the new Kanye, definitely a pod person.
Wow, you're in on pod person. So we just dropped an episode on Tinfoil Hat where the gentleman came on at Nate Burba, and he said that there's a conspiracy out there that Trump died in 1986, and this is a different Trump.
I love it. I love these conspiracy theories. I didn't listen to the news episode, but I'm definitely going to now.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird one. And like, how deep is the technology? I think we said this the last episode before that, is that, you know, these robots that Elon Musk is rolling out, I think they're the flip phone version of the robots, and they have way crazier robots, way deep, you know, that are just way better. And we are just they're slow rolling it out. But I think with these clones, they've been cloning forever. Who knows how advanced they are? And he did come back totally different in that he was, you know, because he was like anti-pornography, all that shit, and then suddenly now he has his own porn site.
And so is this before or after Kanye went on his tour, going on InfoWars, Tim Pool, pushing the envelope with the anti-Semitism and hanging out with like Nick Fuentes? Was he cloned before or after? Or when did his clone appear?
I think if I had to bet, his clone would have appeared after. He does all that, goes off the reservation, which we all know they hate. What they hate is when they make you, and then you go try to do your own thing.
Yeah, that is the perfect time to take him away and then replace him with somebody who is doing exactly what they want. But yeah. Weird stuff, but I'm gonna check out I was gonna ask, like, how did Donald Trump die in 1988? But don't ruin it to me. Ruin it for me. I'm gonna listen to the episode.
Full disclosure, it's not a long conversation, which in hindsight we did a little deep diving on it. I'm sure there's more that could have been done on it. It was a very quick part of the show, and it's like that part of the show where you talked about so much stuff. You're like, what can I call this episode? And that was the one I thought was the most interesting because we did talk about it, but. That is the theory.
Like, podcasts are such a whirlwind of information sometimes, and sometimes only upon reflection, when you listen back, you're like, "Oh my God, I should have asked more about that." But that's when you invite somebody.
Real quick, we don't have a video on it unless you found a video on it. But Schneider in the comment section is asking about what happened with Jay Leno. What is your thoughts on that?
Oh, him, his
showing
face
up all black and blue.
His face was bruised beyond belief. I'll see if I can find it on Twitter real fast. I don't know. Is he part of the Black Eye Gang? He claimed he fell down a hill or fell up a hill, and that is a hard hit for a man of his age. He's lucky if he was falling with that kind of velocity, he's not dead. And like, that's I don't know. But at this stage, you'd imagine if Jay Leno was to be jumped in by some organization, that would have happened a long time ago. Not unless it's just like a re-up. You got to pay up your dues like any organization. And he forgot to pay up, so they blacked his.
That would be crazy if you're like, listen, we know you're 80, but you're late on your dues.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we're either doing this or we're doing this. What are we doing?
So see if I can find. Oh, here's the Jay Leno. I'll see if I can bring this up on screen real quick. Oh, I can't. It'll take down the Wheel of Doom, but
don't take down the Wheel of Doom. It's too important.
We got more dooming to do.
We have so many videos to do.
Yeah, I know. We got a power.
Let's go. Wheel of Doom. Do you guys
Wheel
like
of Doom? Come on.
Oh, dude.
Come on. I got to speed up the wheel a little bit, you know?
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
I got to. Come on.
Homunculus is a little bit different because, right, strictly sticking to the alchemical sense of everything, it's an alchemical entity that was created through the use of alchemy, which alchemy is, again, an occult and esoteric art that was used by this group of initiates, which essentially was a secret society. And they said that when you would open the vessel up and let this thing out, it would die because it couldn't sustain itself. And one of the interesting aspects, you're talking about like mischievous spirits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, Count Johann von Kufstein, who he actually has the world record Guinness for the largest homunculus ever created, and this is like an official record that's recorded 17th century, and he described these 10 homunculi that he had made. And he, if you read the story, he kind of talks about him being a little bit mischievous, like the king was always trying to get out to go and do stuff with the queen. So it was very weird because he gave it, one was a monk, the other one was a knight, one was like a red spirit, one was a blue spirit, one was a seraphim is what he called it. So they all had like their own attributes and they would fight.
Damn.
Interesting.
Is that Wheel of Doom just gets themes? It understands, hey man, these might be good things to follow each other. Homunculuses, do they have that? Is that where we get these clones from?
And so I wasn't familiar with the term homunculus, so I looked it up real quick. It's a concept with roots in alchemy. Philosophy and psychology refers to small human-like figures or representations often associated with symbolic or experimental ideas. The term has evolved into different meanings depending on context. So, okay. So like little figurines, little statuettes of things like that. Interesting.
Yeah, that is from the Juan on Juan podcast.
I like Juan.
Yeah, I do like Juan too. I love it. He's part of this powerful Florida sect of like really great researchers that I have come out. They just had a giant he did stand up at the first Bohemian Grove that was a year ago. And yeah, man, he's great. He puts out great. He came on my show, tried to talk about how Jesus was homunculus. I'm like, bro, you're dancing that dance. You're dancing that dance. Daddy's not going to co-sign on that, but he'll let you say it on the show because we allow all things to be said on the show.
Yeah, I don't know enough about alchemy and those occult arts to really comment on it, but I like the ideas. I like all this stuff, and I just need to learn more. That's why I'm here, is to learn more.
That is the purpose of doom scrolling, is to learn as much knowledge as we can in 90 seconds.
Yes. In fact, is it time for another spin? I think it is. Let's do it.
Let's go. We don't know what's coming up. Here we go.
Let's see. Idea.
We have no idea.
Come on. Let's do it.
This is sexual transmutation right here, and this is something that as a man you should learn as early as possible. Now, Napoleon Hill states here, the truth is that man's most useful years mentally and spiritually are those between 40 and 60, meaning that we are in our more or less prime in our spiritual and our mental selves and aspects and our mental bodies in our 40s and 60s. But we can also learn how to transmute the sexual energy at a much younger age, and this is what is going to change society when the men start to wake up and realize to leave away all the negative stuff, all the negative things that people watch on their phone, all the negative forms of drama that we could be avoiding, and start learning sexual alchemy and sexual transmutation for the better of our own lives. And the fact that you come across this video means that you can feel exactly like this, and you can actually transcend the things and the energies that are going on inside your body. It means no excuses are possible. You can go and you can read books from Mantak Chia, from Napoleon Hill, and from many other people that teach sexual alchemy and transmutation, personal magnetism, ways of increasing your vitality in life and taking the base energies. And the reason why sexual energies are the base energies is because it is the creative force. And once you can learn that and implement it in your life, then you start to change things around you.
Okay. All right. All right.
More alchemy here. So this is sexual alchemy. The humongous, or the what were they called? They're called the homunculi. Homunculi. Different type of alchemy. I've never heard of sexual alchemy. I'm interested. I definitely want to better myself, but then I got to read another book, Sam, and yeah. I got a lot of books I haven't read yet.
Yeah, if you want to try to be really, you want to start getting stuff done, try to quit corn. That's what we got called on YouTube. Try to quit corn. and you get stuff done. But that is the whole thing in our society, that we have cheapened the act of sex, and it's sex magic. And if you constantly keep making magic spells, that's crazy energy. That's crazy energy. And like, I have friends of mine that publicly got canceled on a very large national scale. And I think it's because they were constantly committing sex magic.
Possibly.
You know, they were just having these acts of sex all the time. And that's going to catch up with you. I really do believe that's why sex addiction is so dangerous.
I stopped watching it in late 2015. Cut it right out of my life. And
I'm doing it, dude. I'm working on it now.
It's not to say that sometimes you don't get drawn back, like with any addiction. Sometimes you fall off the wagon, but you're like, geez, what did I do? There's always like that after, you're like, you know. And then but you keep going. But it is one of those time wasters that energy can be best spent elsewhere. But
and you feel it after. It's that post nut.
Yeah, like
oh god,
what have
I done? Why?
To that?
Why did I just do that? No. How do I get out of this?
And it was like a lot of buildup for very little payoff.
Yeah, so. And then you're just like, what are we doing now? It's like, crazy. All my trouble extends for my dick. For sure.
I guess I'll go back and spin the wheel of doom again. Yeah.
Wheel of doom.
Come on, big money. Come on, I want to learn something big.
I'm big.
Oh,
here we go. Next one. $1
is everywhere present in unlimited quantities. I can drive the world's machinery without the need of coal, oil, gas, or any other fuel. This new power for the driving of the world's machinery will be derived from the energy which operates the universe, the cosmic energy.
Interesting.
Quick,
okay.
Get out, quick. That's the whole theory behind free energy, Tesla, Tartaria, all these giant buildings with these lightning rods at the top, harvesting energy.
Now, in those old buildings, they had to have had some sort of battery or some sort of infrastructure to use that energy. You just got to get to those buildings. Every town probably has a couple of them. You just got to get in there. I'm not telling anybody to do any B&E. Don't do that.
Don't break
okay?
the law. Don't break the law. Okay.
But you can get blueprints at the state or the local government office. Do that. Get the blueprints.
Well, do you ever get into that all of the bells are broken for a reason because of vibrations?
Interesting. That the bells have broken because the density of our air has changed, or the vibrations?
No, that they broke them on purpose so that they can't that we can't learn the vibrational levels and how vibrations are frequencies that heal.
I am on board with. Now, to sabotage the bells, I like that too, as a method to bring us down, make us sick, make us wanting something from the mainstream culture, which in hospitals and pharmaceuticals. I like that idea.
It starts getting into that little. Have you heard the little season? That that there was that Jesus reigned for 1,000 years, and that we're coming to the end of the 2,000 years of darkness, which is kind of crazy, right? Like all the low vibrational stuff going on right now.
It's ridiculous, and also, so I've been diving deep into with my wife has been telling me, basically she's been diving deep into Jason RKX, and he's basically saying that we're coming to the end of the Phoenix cycle, and in 2040 that is when it all culminates, and that's when we get wiped out and we start anew. So there's a bunch of different cycles that are happening, cycles within cycles, gears within larger gears. And I think it all works in synchrony. In synchrony. I can't even say it. In synchrony. God damn it. I can't say it. In synchrony. I'm going to move on. I'm going to spin the wheel. I can't even talk right now.
Don't hurt yourself.
I
don't hurt yourself. So we basically got 16 years to build a bunker. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. I think that, there will be 7 events leading up to it from now until then. The 7 seals. And these will be significant events, and people in the know will recognize these events as a signal, saying, "Oh, okay, that one kicked off. Boom. There's seal 2. Boom." And then on that final seal is when it all goes down. So yeah, we do have basically 15 years to get ready.
So my question to you is: do you want to survive or not survive?
Man, I will probably be in my mid-60s, early 60s, still handsome, probably.
Yeah, probably stunningly
I don't know.
good looking.
Do I want to be a wasteland warrior in my mid-60s? Maybe. If you're going to do it, that's a good career change at that point. I probably would have tapped out in my cybersecurity role. So, yeah. Now, I don't know if I would like to survive alone. It would be a very lonesome road to walk down.
100%. 100%. Now, let me ask you something. In 2040, will you go back to watching pornography when you know that the end is near?
No, I would probably choose a different vice. Maybe but here's the thing. Just because the end is near doesn't mean I should party and like do all the pills I want to do. Like all the work I did throughout my life to make myself a better person, just to throw it away at the end, maybe is not the best mindset to go out on. Like I did all this mental work throughout my life. At least I want to die with that work. But I guess maybe if I wanted. If I see an asteroid coming, sure, maybe I'll shoot up some heroin. Why not?
Yeah, there you go. Feel it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back. Wheel of Doom.
Come on now.
Let's go. What do we got?
In 1990, in the inhospitable region of northwest China, something unusual was discovered in the desert. As explorers investigated the dry and arid landscape,
Was that Bert
lodged within the
Kreischer?
sand were hundreds of wooden boats. But it was what was inside those boats which would leave everybody baffled. As archaeologists investigated further, they found hundreds of mummified bodies with European facial features. The bodies were strikingly intact, but even more surprising was their age and origins. The dry and arid landscape had preserved them. Some were up to 4,000 years old, but a DNA test revealed a surprising result. The Tarim mummies belonged to a unique ancient group of people called the Ancient North Eurasians. Scientists call them a ghost population because there are no known direct descendants living today.
Well, it sounds like they all died in the in the desert.
Yeah, the Chinese desert, close to Mongolia. I mean, but that's it. Like, I've never heard of that. I'm sure most people have never heard of this mysterious people. It just goes to show you how much we don't know as a society. And like new things are discovered all the time, or dates are adjusted and people have to realign their thinking. And information moves so quickly. You can mention that to somebody, Sam, and they're gonna be like, BS. They didn't find this mysterious like group of people out there in the desert, and because they're never gonna hear about this stuff. Most people are never gonna hear about this stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I guess, are these, there's a lot of super chats. Are these brand new ones or are these old ones from before?
Let's see.
They have times, but it's very crazy that, okay. I mean, yeah, I guess they're all new. Okay, we'll get into your super chats later. Here's the crazy thing. They're discovering tribes today that we didn't even know about that are still around. Like,
Yeah.
they'll just send a drone deep into like the Amazon. They'll be like, who are these guys? Where'd they come from? I mean, dude, we haven't even discovered, like, we haven't even explored our oceans, dude. The world is so interesting. You know? It's just crazy to me, dude. Like,
so you basically doom scroll for a living. Like you come across content, you talk to people about these strange topics, but you also have I don't want to say like normie friends. You probably do, and you communicate with them. Is there any sort of inkling on your part that they're interested in this stuff? They want to know more. Like if any of these topics get brought up.
In terms of what, hidden history or
hidden history, specifically like alchemy, hidden history, because those seem like safer topics to talk about.
This could be a weird answer, but I don't think they like talking hidden history because they go, why would they lie about that? Right?
Oh, damn, you're right. You're right.
It's just very weird how they don't want to talk about certain things. They don't want to question science. They basically don't want to question anything they learned in school. Though they're open-minded that things today are being revealed in terms of human behavior, but they never really want to talk about everything that you got taught in school is a lie because that's exhausting to them.
Yeah, it is. I understand it. People just want to roll over and forget about this stuff. I get it.
I don't find it exhausting, though.
Some people do. It can be.
I get that. I mean, I would tell you, let's say, Midnight Mike, somebody came to us, some big baller, right? It was like, I want you to create the MSNBC of conspiracy news, okay? Where we could produce a whole like nightly like news that is done in the vein of like these cable news shows, right? I would tell you that that's going to be so much more interesting than anything you see on television right now.
Oh, I guarantee that it would have 10 times the ratings as Mika and Joe on like a Morning Joe. 10 times. People would tune in to talk about it. People, if we were on MSNBC just doing the show, we would have better ratings. We would. I guarantee we would.
Yeah, and it's so funny because there's this talk now of them spinning off MSNBC, which is spinning into the dark abyss of canceled, and everyone's freaking out. It's like, it's real simple. It's real simple. All you have to do is just tell the truth, and people will love you. Why do I sound like Bubble Bear? Who is that? Bubble. No, does anyone know what I'm talking about? Who's it? Who's the bear that always wants to eat all the people's
Yogi
picnic?
Bear.
Oh, Yogi Bear.
Yogi
Why
and
do I
Boo
sound
Boo.
like Boo Boo? Hey, Boo Boo.
Hey, Boo
All you
Boo.
have to do is do the populist movement and tell the truth. People will love you. And that's all it is. But they can't do it because the people who own it, who are psychopaths, don't care about the truth. They'd rather kill it off.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of work. And it's probably very exhausting for them. And so before we spin the Wheel of Doom, I need something to talk about at Thanksgiving that is completely off the wall. And so I am going to hazard that this next video, we have no idea what it is, but I'm going to commit to everyone that I'm going to bring up this topic, whatever it is, at the next, when I have Thanksgiving in a week. So maybe everyone else can make that commitment too.
Okay. So here's the deal, everybody. You are, whatever this comes up, you're going to bring it up at Thanksgiving. This is the deal. If you're watching right now, okay, that's the deal. Here we go. If you
Wheel of Doom.
Oh.
What am I talking about at Thanksgiving that's going to get me kicked out? We're going to find out.
Here we go.
I have a ghost story. It's the realest thing I've ever experienced in my life. I collect Native American artifacts. And so my buddy and I, we went one afternoon. We find some stuff. I go home, don't think anything about it. I lived in a cabin in the middle of the woods. Went to bed sober. I woke up, my kitchen window had been unlatched and pushed open. Dude, what? My wife had bought this mirror. And so she and I hung this mirror. We looked at it really good. And we're like, okay, good, go to bed. The next day, the mirror's got a giant scratch across the freaking mirror.
Dude.
So there was 1 week that I woke up every single night at 2:59 on the freaking dot. The last night I woke up, borderline having a panic attack. My heart was racing. I was sweating. And I turned my lamp on and I put my feet on the side of the bed and I stand up. When I stood up, something jumped from that balcony to the floor and it ran through my house to the point where I grabbed my gun, dude, and I freaking racked that thing and I freaking vetted my entire house because it was so real that I was convinced that somebody was in my house. And dude, there was nothing. So scared, right? Dude, there was literally
that is the scariest
nothing.
Image.
This is how specific it was. I heard the wood crack from the hands, the pressure, and then a second of pause, and then the thud shook my windows
like a human size.
1,000%. So we didn't tell anybody about this. And my buddy finally told him. He was like, man, one night I woke up and my dog was barking. She never barks. And he was like, I woke up and I heard a thud downstairs. He said something had opened his freaking Arrowhead case where his the stuff that he found that day was in his Arrowhead case.
What?
I swear on my life.
Damn.
That stuff is real. Like, there's so many stories of people, unsuspecting kids or families that come across Native American artifacts. They bring them home, and they will be visited in the middle of the night by a Dogman-like creatures, like hovering over them. And, like, you have disturbed sacred artifacts.
Yeah.
And you have, and I think it's called the Rougarou, and specifically a story from Louisiana in the South. Small Town Monsters did a documentary on it, and it just they go over all these instances of these quasi Dogman spiritual creatures that are sent out, I believe, to reclaim lost artifacts like that. And those artifacts have a specific spiritual imprint from that culture that lives beyond the bounds of time and death.
So what is the conversation you have to have at Thanksgiving? Can a gun work on a ghost? Can a gun work on a cryptid? You know, should you arm yourself against supernatural? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, how do you casually bring this up in conversation? Maybe if gun control comes up, then you say, well, if you want to control guns, I heard this story. It's this guy being attacked by this creature in the middle of the night because his wife brought home this cursed mirror. Okay, I don't know how you bring it up casually. It's very hard to bring that up casually.
Okay, here's how you get into it. Yeah, you know, Thanksgiving, the natives, they got really messed up. You know, you got to watch stuff. You bring home any native stuff from home, bang, now you're into Dogman. Right. That's there.
A great angle. It is Thanksgiving, pilgrims, Native Americans. Great segue there. You could bring this up. Like, the native culture should be respected. And because if not, they're going to curse you, and the Dogman will come eat your head off in the middle of the night.
Congratulations to Mr. Z on getting that out. Second of all, I was in Tulsa over the weekend, and I went to Sam Kinnison's grave.
Oh, wow.
And we were trying to find it. You would just have to walk around these graves. I'm like, I don't want to be disrespectful to the dead, but like I would walk by and some of the stuff that people had left was knocked over. So I would reposition it so it was meant to be respectful. So I just wanted the dead to know, because they could be watching Doomscrollin, that I was doing everything out of love and respect. That's what I was doing. Trying to love and respect for the dead and not trampling on them and being disrespectful.
What did they leave at Sam's gravesite?
Well, the whole thing is people leave, like, I guess, fake jewelry and money. I don't know why. There's a ton of change on there.
That's kind of disrespectful.
I don't know why, but that's
Sam made money, you know? Sam
did make money. And then on the grave is something I want to get tattooed, which was in another time and place he'd be called what was it called? Oh man, come on. What was it? In another time and place he'd be called sorry guys. I'll get this. Give me
You can look it up.
You can look it up right here. And okay. In another time and place he'd be called the prophet. I want to get that tattooed somewhere. There we go.
Yeah,
there we go.
He was one of my favorites growing up, but I'm sure with everyone. I saw him way too young on HBO when I shouldn't have, but he was funny.
Well, you know what's so interesting is that he's one of the few people from that era that could come today and bang. Yep. Right? If you kind of study his style versus, let's say, my friends, I run me and my buddy own a club in New Jersey. Joey Diaz just went up there last night, and they were like, Joey Diaz was on fire. Sam Kinison was a Joey Diaz type. Or Joey Diaz is a Sam Kinison type. However, you want to put it, right? And that he kind of brought Sam Kinison kind of brought in the ranting comedy that we see Bill Burr do today, Joe Rogan, so many of these. Myself, I'm a ranter. So yeah, dude, I think he would crush today.
Yeah, he'd fit right in. It'd be interesting to hear his perspective on all this stuff that's going on today. That's for sure.
Rob for Trump. We do read the Rumble comments. Please stop. Please.
Yeah, we see you.
We see you. We're hanging and banging.
Yeah,
that is a weird impulse, man.
Yeah, thank you, dude. Wheel. Let's go. Wheel
of Doom.
Go.
Come on. I'll speed this up for next show.
That's fine. Here we go. Here it is.
Humans actually aliens. There is a theory that Mars was the actual place where human life began. Well, you see, the reason is that on Mars, scientists have found that there is an abundance of a particular element on the periodic table called xenon. And the interesting thing about this element is that it can only be produced after a massive nuclear war. So is it possible that a nuclear war broke out on Mars amongst the human civilization that destroyed the whole planet? What if only one male and female managed to evacuate to the next planet, Earth, to restart the population? And what if the names of the two humans were Adam and Eve? Well, you ask the question.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I do like it. It reminds me of a movie I watched recently. It came out in the 90s called Mission to Mars, where it stars like Gary Sinise and some other big actors. They go to Mars. They find remnants of possibly a civilization, definitely like a pyramid, and they look at the face on Mars. And then the whole movie goes, is just them trying to figure out what this face on Mars is. I'm not going to ruin it for anybody, but it goes pretty deep into things like this. I like the idea, and especially with that document that has been making the rounds recently.
What is that?
The document is the CIA contracted a remote viewer, and this remote viewer went to Mars 1 million years ago to see what Mars was like. And the remote viewer saw that there was a civilization of very tall humanoids there. They looked to be huddling inside of a large cavernous area. Suspected to be the pyramid on Mars, and that they weren't doing so well. Then the remote viewer got a sense that a certain number of that population was sent away in order to find a new home. And then the remote viewer advanced forward several years, and that population on Mars died out. And that was about 1 million years ago. And so it's possible that the remnants of them, that Martian civilization, landed down on Earth and maybe still live here in Antarctica or under it.
Any thoughts on space? What are your thoughts on space? There's some people in the comment section saying space is fake and gay. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I'm open to perspectives on it. So if we do live in a simulation, and then when you approach the outside of this atmosphere, that boundary, well, the simulation has to render something for you, and the simulation has to render backstories. It has to render history at the same time, and so either that history is rendered and created on the fly, or it's not really there. So it depends. Like if we live in a hologram or a simulation, then space is just as real as you or I, or however. But if you believe this is a real plane, but we live on a flat plane, then there is no space.
Yeah,
but
I'm with you, dude. It's so. I think it might be beyond our brain's comprehension. I want to give a shout out to Nephilim Death Squads here and local celebrity Steve Lafayette, who's been hanging and banging since the beginning. So since the early days of Tinfoil Hat. Welcome, guys. Welcome to Doomscrollin.
But you don't believe in space, do you?
I don't know what space is. It could easily be liquid. It could easily, I know this is where some people are going to think I'm weird. It could be the tree of life. Maybe these planets are just the tree of life, and all those weird, bubbles in the tree of life. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's definitely weird.
They're obviously not telling us the full story. And yeah, they're not telling us the full story about the nature of this reality, if they truly know. So I'm open to it being like a real vast emptiness, but maybe not so empty, or just a construction of the simulation, or not there at all. And everything that we think are the planets and the galaxies up there are just a holographic projection just to amuse our minds.
Dude, I mean, when you try to think about God has always been here, your brain says, nope, shut it down. We're not doing it. We're not thinking about that. We can't comprehend a time before God because he was just here. We always think there has to be a creation. Did somebody create God? The answer is no. He's always been here. How do we? But we can't, our minds can't compute that.
Yeah, I can barely think about 2 months ago. I can't remember this day 2 months ago and what I did. I so it's hard to fathom like thousands, millions, billions of years ago. It's just incomprehensible.
Okay, let's do a couple before we go on to some more. Let's jump into some super chats here of $5 and more. $5 or more, you get in the super chats. Here we go. This guy comes to my show. Marvel Comics created the Savage Land, a spot in Antarctica where lush jungles and dinosaurs still live. How would they have the idea if not true? You asked the questions. I agree. Blanco SoCal. Here's a $20 hanging in the bank. Talali House. Sorry to beat a dead horse, brother. Have you had a chance to look up Lee Brown's speech about the Hopi prophecies? Okay.
I think we read that last time.
Okay. Oh, we did?
Yeah.
No, but he's saying he beat it. I mean, maybe.
So maybe he's still beating that dead horse?
Yeah, he's still beating off the dead horse. Okay. He's going for it. I think it will drop the hammer of the gods whenever you learn it's loyal to the foil. See, these all say today's time, though.
Okay. All right.
246. That's
right.
I'm with you. So I will check it out. I will look it up. Lee Brown's Hopi prophecies. Lee Brown's Hopi prophecies.
I'm looking it up right now.
So just so I don't lose it, I will look it up. Okay, there we go. Stop being the okay. We'll go with the $4.99. You're right there.
Come on.
World Fair video link to chat. Okay, you're right. These are from different sites. So I don't know how to get rid of the old ones.
Okay, I need money.
Okay, I don't know how to get. Okay, that's old. 318, 32. Okay, we'll go. Okay, I'm just gonna start here. I'm just gonna start with this one, Atlantis, and then again, Power Bottom clones, and then I will bust nut. Congratulations. Here we go. And Richard, here we go. Sam Brock, come to Miami, do comedy, and do the PBD podcast. He brought up your clip on Rogan recently when you were talking about Bush Obama being related. He did. That's great. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Yep. You're right. Oh, here's another one. This is a $20 one. I was a kid with the Let's Go brand t-shirt in Spokane a couple years ago. I got my picture taken with you. My brother and I listen to all your podcasts. That's a lot. That's a full-time job while at work. And we go fishing and make fishing and hunting videos on YouTube. Nice. All right, man. Link the links. Link the links. That's all I got to say. So we have to write down for now on. What I'll do is before we end it, I'll write down what the last super chat or the last chat is so we don't do it again. So thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
That guy's page is Wachowski's Fishing Sickness. That's his YouTube. I'll check out some fishing videos.
Yeah, for sure. Handyman stuff and fishing videos. Let's go.
Wheel of Doom. Here we go.
Wheel of Doom. Here we go. Wheel of Doom.
Let me bring.
We don't know what's gonna play. We don't know.
Here we go. Wheel of Doom. Wheel
of
Doom. All right. I might bring this one up at Thanksgiving too. Who knows?
Okay, this is it. Here we. Oh, it almost done.
Hey man, can you pay me your share of the rent this month? You still owe me $12.50. Okay, bro, no worries. I just did a big collab with a big brand. It's gonna be huge. Dude, congrats. That's amazing. What's the brand? Check it out. Okay, so it's this new app called Fibby. Fibby? Okay, what's that? It's like a super chill domestic intelligence and security app. How you spell Fibby? FBI. Bro, the FBI? Like the government agency? App, agency, same thing. I'll collab with whoever. That's not a collab. That's called being an informant. Call it a bag. They just wanted me to post a trending sound and geotag some locals local mutuals talking about sustainable urban beekeeping. Did they make you wear a wire? Nah, I'd never do that. Okay, cool. Because I got a conflict with another brand with wearables. It was all wireless. No, dude! If the collab was just a get ready with me vlog about their new sonic crowd control cannon, would that be cool? How'd they even compensate you for this? They didn't, but it's okay, because I'm gonna trade the analytics data off my Fibby post with a new big brand collab coming out of Beijing. Bro, you're working for the CCP! Me and she go way back. He's gonna hook me up with immunity and perpetuity, and get this, 60 Temu hand immersion blenders. Bro, you gotta get out of this stuff. Okay, but none of this matters though, because what I'm really excited about is this new partnership with Sia. That's awesome! Wait, you're gonna do a collab with Sia, the musician? Yeah, they do music, like interrogation, drill and bass type shit. And this one's spelled CIA? If it's spelled how you want, does that make you more comfortable about how I pay rent? So you're a spy now? I spy with my little eye, a bag. What's the deal with the CIA for? They see me as an artist, okay? They just hired me to paint. Oh, okay. A laser on a compound in Uzbekistan filled with other competing brands. Stop collabing with governments! Okay, no more government stuff. I got a big deal lined up with my boy Ray. You mean Ray? Nah, last name Theon. Oh my god. Hey yo, Mimo! Hey yo! How many dollars we getting for every Sidewinder missile we sell off our affiliate link commission? 3. You got Mimo in on this shit too, man. It's supposed to be confidential. You can't be talking about this stuff. So I take it that you wouldn't be thrilled that Mimo just got a POV Day in My Life Intel Hall collab with the new app Insa? Fine, you know what? I'll just go back to the White House and do another TikTok with Joe. How are you doing a collab with President Biden? I got a direct line to his exoskeleton/antler. We'll do a collab. I sell him his vitamins, and he gets a little sniff. A sniff? You're making me do this. No, man, you gotta stop this. You gotta stop trying to be an influencer. Because imagine if you were a little more supportive and compassionate about how I never pay rent. I'd never have to be getting sniffed up on by old government people for money.
That was fire.
That speaks to the culture of trying to make it. And you want to call it sellout? Maybe selling out, but it seems like selling out is what people are doing at least since I would say the mid 2000s. You had bands and actors then saddling up to like credit card companies, banks, just big brands, and effectively selling out. The culture of the 90s of going against and selling out your art for extra bucks, that has long since died. And now everyone's looking to collab with anything, and that's a parody, but I don't think it's very far off.
I don't either. And, you know, there used to be a time if you were an A-list actor, you wouldn't do any commercials in America.
Yep.
You have to go to Japan and push sake. And now it's just like, hey, Miss Rent-A-Car, you know? Hey, I'm The Rock. And when I'm trying to save the world, I use Avis Rent-A-Car. That never happened back in the day.
No, it is now part of their income. It became okay. Maybe, I don't know what actor really broke open that dam for everyone else. It could have been Samuel L. Jackson with Capital.
Yeah, black people.
It probably was Samuel. He was probably the guy pushing it, and he's like, hell with it. I'm gonna make as much money as possible while I'm here. So,
I agree with you, dude. It's just like selling out is not a bad thing now to these kids.
It's not. It's a way of life because they don't have to go punch a. I guess no one's punching time cards
and they're
anymore,
literally like the bag. They just want the bag. That's all they care about is the bag. That's why that was great. That was the best.
It was good, and that guy can talk fast, no doubt about that.
Here
Let's
we go.
spit it again.
Everyone's loving Wheel of Doom, dude.
We're gonna whip it up, big money. We're gonna have points next time.
No, here we go. Ooh.
Come on, big money.
Whatever you think.
Yeah, we're done talking. I'm ready to fight. You don't want this fight to happen, Jake. Whatever. I'm Jake Paul, and get ready for the Paul Punch. Don't make me do this, Jake. Whatever. I hate you. What? I didn't want to have to do this, Jake. But you made me do it. You made the demons come out. Stand still so I can Paul Punch you. This is my last chance to let you forfeit. No. Very well. You have chosen your own demise. Domain expansion.
What am I looking at? What is all of this?
You have awoken a dormant nightmare.
How are you doing this?
Your eyes are open, but your mind is shut.
I thought we were gonna just like punch each other.
Oh, we are, Jake, because it is I who will be doing the punching. Kamehameha, Jake.
More exciting than the fights.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I would say
way more better than the fights. They should have just ran that. That would have been the fight. That would have been much better. Everybody upset about the fights. Who is more ridiculous? People that can't believe Kamala Harris lost, or people that can't believe that fight sucked? Who's more ridiculous?
Or people who don't think it would have been rigged in some way.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. How did you not think it wasn't going to be rigged? And Jake Paul was, there's a lot of Freemason symbols right now with everyone's talking about the Freemason and the cult symbolism with this fight. Do you think they can get that specific, Midnight?
That specific with what, the like calling it, or just I think
on this date, and okay, there's a video out there talking about how I know how we can tell. Okay, there's a video out there talking about how this fight was supposed to be done on another date, but the actual day the fight took place is the day that the audit for the Pentagon came out.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The only way they could call this stuff is if they had some sort of portal technology to where they could look into the future, and then place their bets or make their call or make their moves. And so I would say it's possible if you believe in that kind of technology, like Project Pegasus kind of stuff. Why not at this point? Why not? And if everything is a simulation and there is a destiny, then it's written down somewhere. And if you have access to the simulation cloud, then everything's predictable. Everything's been done, and you just got to have access to it to know how it all works out.
I agree, bro. I agree. And listen, man, I really do believe the Nazis had time travel technology. So I think they could totally do all that.
I'm getting ready to do a segment on my show about just time travelers in general. Somehow, through just weird synchronicity. Hey, look, I said the word. I've come across a couple different books about time travelers, and then this week, videos, without even me talking about it, are being recommended to me about time travel, and also videos have just been put out like within like a day or two about this stuff. So time travelers coming from years ranging from 1,000 to 3,000 years from now in order to come back and help us elevate our souls to a level in which they can now escape from this prison that we're in, the spiritual prison that we're in.
That is interesting that they come back and bust people out of this weird kind of like trap under the firmament. Give it up for local celebrity Mark from My Family Thinks We're Crazy.
Hey, Mark,
Mark, everyone loves him. Yay, Mark. Yay, Mark. Guys, over 2,000 people are watching this live. We are winning.
And why not? If you're just joining us now, this next video you have to talk about at Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Here we go.
Next one, you have to talk about this at Thanksgiving or lunch at work tomorrow, one or the other.
I get it. Yeah, maybe lunch at work, casual lunch conversation. All right, let's do it.
The last one is guns and cryptids. You got to somehow bring up guns and cryptids. And then this one you have to talk to somebody at work about. Here we go.
Oh, come on. Let's do it.
Skinny Bob is an extraterrestrial featured in a mysterious video that surfaced online in 2011. Anonymously uploaded to YouTube, the footage claims to show a captured alien, allegedly recorded between 1942 and 1969 as part of a secretive government program. The alien, resembling the classic gray, with a large head, big black eyes, and thin limbs, is shown in an examination setting. The smooth, black and white footage sparked debates, with some believing it's authentic while others argue it's a CGI hoax. Could this footage be the closest we've ever come to seeing real extraterrestrial life? Or
Skinny Bob. Skinny Bob.
Skinny Bob. So tomorrow at work, you got to talk about Skinny Bob. Please film it. Please film it. Send it to us. You talking to people about Skinny Bob.
Have you heard about a guy named Skinny Bob? They're going to think about you're talking about somebody at work, and you're like, no, the alien.
On Ozempic.
Yeah, used to be called Fat Bob.
Yeah. So let me ask you something. Do you think it's crazy that these people can just fly bazillions of miles across space, but they can't get out of a jail cell?
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense unless they are disposable. And it doesn't matter what happens to them. They are automatons because they are not the ones in charge. I would say that they are manufactured. They're kind of like a tire. You can make a new one. Yes, it's useful. It has a function. But if your tire happens to get captured by the enemy, I'll just put a new tire on the truck. It's fine. I like the Skinny Bob video. I believe either it's real or it's an approximation of a real event. And a lot of like this disinformation stuff and like fairly convincing videos probably are an approximation of a real event, meaning that they were constructed, may have been edited in some way, but it represents an actual event. So they can be discounted as fake or disinformation, but with every piece of disinformation, there is some truth in there.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. I think it's interesting. You know, when they're like, yeah, you know, we shot. I love that. You remember that moment where the government didn't know what to do with a weather balloon? They were just like, oh my, what are we going to do? The military, the greatest military of all time. And then they're like, 2 weeks later, like, we shot down in an alien craft in Canada. It's so crazy. And you're like, what are you talking about?
They're just, hyperventilating over balloons. And they still are using the balloon excuse as recently as a few days ago in front of the Senate when the leader of the AARO testified to the Senate about UFOs and UAPs. They basically used balloons. It's the new excuse. It used to be swamp gas back in the day. Now it's balloons. But back to these little gray guys. So they're not in charge. So there's a hierarchy. And these little gray guys, by all accounts, don't have a soul. They are automatons, and if you see them, you basically can ask them, take me to your leader, because they ain't it. It's the little gray guys, then there's the hybrids, and then you have pretty much humans. If you happen to see a human on a UFO, those guys are in charge.
The humans are in charge on the UFOs?
Yeah, unless it's a reptilian UFO. Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's
Just
super
saying.
interesting. Super interesting.
All right, spin it again. Here we go.
Wheel of
Doom. Come on, wheel.
Do you guys love the Wheel of Doom? We don't know what's going to be played.
Do you have a history to yourself?
Whoa. Things like that make me believe in a simulation.
Exactly. And I was going to say that. This has to be the simulation reusing events and variables in order to preserve memory or storylines, or it's just like this storyline worked so good once, we are going to replicate it and reuse it again.
Let's run it
do
back.
it again.
So they're like
Change.
Hollywood. They're just redoing classics.
It's a reboot.
It's a reboot.
They're rebooted it.
It's rebooting.
It's a reboot for a new generation.
Assassinations. That's what they're doing. Yeah, that's so great, dude. That's so funny.
But yeah, don't ask your history teacher about this because they're not going to have an answer for you. They're not going to talk about we might be living in a simulation and it wants to preserve memory. So it's going to reuse variables from. They're not going to have any of these ideas. They're going to call you
None
Looney
of my
Tunes.
teachers could. I think of all my teachers, and I love them all. They could not. They could not take that. Hey, what are your thoughts on the simulation?
They'll probably give you detention for asking that question. So good luck.
For sure. So that's crazy, bro. That's a crazy one for sure. Let's go. Wheel of Doom.
Just do it.
Yo, what? There was no love in the house.
Whoever wrote Enoch knows the full backstory that's behind Genesis 6:1 through 4. Whoever wrote Genesis 6:1 through 4, Moses or somebody else, they know the story too, but they've condensed it, and they don't bother to tell their readers all of the backstory because they just assume their readers know it. Unfortunately, we don't know any of this stuff. We don't know what Enoch's doing. In fact, we tell people not to read Enoch because it's not a biblical book, and it's not. It's not inspired. It shouldn't be part of the canon. But a book doesn't have to be canonical to be important. The biblical writers quote books that are outside the Bible all the time to make specific points. Peter knows this literature, and because he's read it, he has a fuller picture of what Genesis 6:1-4 means, how it operates, why it's there, why the first 4 verses make sense of the 5th verse, the human wickedness it juxtaposed to the sons of God event. Peter understands that. The thing is, we are cut off from the context. We're cut off from the data. Evangelicals and all traditions of Christianity have approached Genesis 6:1-4 to strip out the supernatural elements and say there's nothing going on here with angels or supernatural beings, citizen, move along, and trying to explain away the Nephilim, trying to explain away what Peter's doing. Nobody did any of that in antiquity because they understood what the thing was about.
Yep.
It's really always great when you're talking about the Bible and the book of Enoch and you're playing corn music behind you, right? Like, we could read the Bible or we could make sweet love. That's it. Which one we doing? Which one we doing?
It's tough. It's a toss-up. But
It's a
what he
toss-up.
said was pretty right on. The book of Enoch is pretty far. It was so far out there for people when they were trying to compile stuff. It's like, hey, what's going to go in the Bible? They're like, this is some pretty strange stuff that Enoch went through. We can't include this. It's just it's gonna make people think too much, and we do not want that.
I agree, man. And it's just like that what, Committee of Sinai or whatever they're called, bro. Whatever they're called. Dude, they kept out a lot of the mysticism out of this stuff. And more, I'm just like, like I said, I've said this on the last couple podcasts I've been on. I'm reading this book and it's not the Bible, but it is called the Book of Revelations. And like, I never even thought about that. But when they talk about the apocalypse, people think it's the end of days, but it really is just this kind of all of a sudden knowledge is learned, right? And like, they're talking about mystery schools in this, and this is from the 1920s. This is Christian priests talking about the mysticism, the mystery schools, and all that stuff. So I think it's interesting, dude.
So is it the actual Book of Revelations that you're reading right now? Is that the one that's tacked down at the end of the Bible?
No, I'm reading is
okay.
It's a Steiner. It's a priest at a convention, a bunch of priests in Germany in the 1920s discussing the Book of Revelation.
Okay. Interesting.
It is, dude. And when I heard him say mystery schools, I'm like, oh my God, they're lying to us.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff, like different interpretations, like especially with the Book of Revelations. And I wish I knew more. Like, I have a Bible sitting over there. I have all these philosophical texts that I just haven't read through. And maybe it's time to start picking them back up and seeing what I can find. But
I love it, dude.
Yeah, I know. I love it too. It's just I'm so much time is required, and I just have so little of it.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. It's hard to do everything.
Yeah, it is. Spin the wheel.
Here we go.
Come on.
Jesus had a Chinese brother that started one of the deadliest rebellions in history. Well, at least that's what this man claimed to be. When he was younger, he took the civil service exam in China 3 times, failing all attempts. A little later on, he claimed to have had visions where the Christian God told him that he was actually God's son and the brother of Jesus Christ. The vision told him that he was sent to Earth to destroy demons that were taking over. Now, over time, he built a cult following of thousands of people by preaching Christian values. But then he claimed that the demons he was meant to defeat was actually the Qing dynasty that ruled over China. And so he armed his followers with weapons and told them to fight. In 1851, they actually started fighting the Qing dynasty, and after some success, declared the establishment of the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom. He established a government and ruled for another 11 or so years before his death, which was by poisoning. Now, this rebellion against the Qing dynasty supposedly claimed 20 to 30 million lives, making it one of the worst in history.
Hold on, dude. When did that happen? When did he say that happened?
That happened, let's see, like 1851.
Fight. In 1851, they actually started fighting the Qing dynasty.
1851. It sounds like he says 1951. I'm like, damn, my
18.
dad was alive for that.
Yeah. 1851. That's a lot of people. I love those little tidbits of history, though. Something that you would never otherwise hear from your history teacher in America.
Here's my goal when this show starts making cash, to list all of the content creators so people can find them. It's just so much work. Yeah. And as soon as we blow this up, we'll get it going. So everybody that we show, you guys get your credit, man. But I think it's interesting, man. I think it's interesting. I love the story. Jesus going like to other places, learning karate. Right?
I love that shit too.
I do too. Learning jujitsu. Let's go, bro. Jesus eating fried rice. That'd be awesome.
All right, we're coming to the end, and we still have so many more videos to get to.
Dude, we could do this. We got about 15 more minutes, guys. Let's go. Let's keep going.
Come on, Wheel of Doom. Let's do it. Come on.
Wheel of Doom.
You're doing so great. Come on, big money. I'm adding points next time.
Les événements sportifs sont des rituels maçonniques. Les athlètes suivent un scénario précis. Et Paul le dit lui-même. Et comme d'habitude, on a des indices cachés à la vue de tous. Paul is a larve, qui signifie un joueur de rôle prédéfini. Et le script a d'ailleurs fuité sur Internet. Et comme c'est écrit, le but était d'enterrer Mike Tyson. Et on le voit bien, Tyson ne réagit pas. Il suit le scénario qui lui est imposé. Alors que Paul suit un rituel maçonnique d'initiation, Mike a plutôt l'air de suivre un rituel d'humiliation. En particulier avec ce plan sur ses fesses, qui rappelle l'humiliation de John Cena aux Oscars. Puis on a le G maçonnique sur la droite. Les deux personnages sont des francs-maçons et les signes maçonniques ne manquent pas. Œil caché, doigt du silence, corne du diable, 666. Pendant son entrée, Paul porte une veste avec le logo de la société secrète Skull and Bones. Il est né exactement il y a 333 semaines et participe au 3e degré de franc-maçonnerie pour devenir maître maçon. Le 3e degré est bien représenté avec le logo Celsius au centre du ring. 33 secondes avant la fin, le commentateur fait référence à Chronos en citant le père du temps. Chronos est souvent représenté en train de mordre un enfant. C'est pour ça que symboliquement, Mike Tyson mordait son gant tout au long du match. Les rituels maçonniques utilisent des gestes précis. Et quand l'apprenti est enfin prêt, il prend une posture avec son maître qui rappelle celle de la fin d'un match de boxe. C'est pour symboliser la transmission de leur secret.
So even in French, even the French are onto you, Jake Paul.
I don't speak that devil language, but what I got out of it was that it was a script that Jake Paul and Tyson ran, and that there was various Masonic symbolism throughout it, and it paid homage to old Greek titans and gods in some way. So it was all wrapped up in a bow. Everyone got a nice payday out of it, and it seemed like the only people that suffered were people that were trying to watch it live on Netflix, and there were streaming problems.
Buffering. We had some buffering, but it's like crazy. But again, like we talked earlier, can they do all this stuff in real time? Can they do all that stuff in real time?
You got to look at who was in charge. Yeah, it's Jake Paul, but he has a producer. There is a production company. There is a producer, and that's who has access to this knowledge and in arranging it on certain dates. Or if it was just an accident where it happened in this way, well, simulation all the way, and we're fulfilling some kind of prophecy or destiny by watching.
So here's the biggest problem with the whole notion that Mike Tyson, just stop trying. He's 58. I'm telling you, you're good for like 2 rounds. And then 2, 3, and then you get tired. You get real tired. I'm not saying that he wasn't, that there couldn't be something up, but people got to understand, man, 58 is a old age to be doing combat sports.
He looked great, though. He was in shape, and only a couple punches from him would have. I thought it would have been done if it was a real match in the first 2 rounds, because it's Tyson. He's back. He's hungry, and he wants to look good. This could be his final fight.
Probably is.
But I heard that Tyson was going through some money problems, and this was basically just a play, and he got paid very well to be part of this play that improves Jake Paul's image and allows him to continue to fight other people, and Tyson got a huge payday. So it's a win-win situation, and plus they can play homage to their Masonic gods.
Yes, there we go. There we go, dude. I would love to be able to, do 20 mil. You throw me in with both of them, me versus both of them.
For 20 mil, I would do 1 round. That's probably all I could do. I'd probably have a concussion, but I might die.
1 round.
1 round. I'd lose.
Yeah. But you would win in the long run.
Yeah. Come on, do it.
Here we go. What do
Here
we got?
New Mayan ruins just dropped. That's right. A grad student going through public drone data LiDAR has found a city in the jungles of Mexico that is 1.5 times the size of Washington, D.C., and is believed to be once had 50,000 people living in it. Not only that, but many of the pyramids are about the same size as those at Chichen Itza. That's absolutely wild how big a pyramid can be that's just hidden in the jungle that nobody finds until now. LiDAR is super cool technology, very similar to radar by using light. And now, with very inexpensive LiDAR and drones, you can map entire continents if you want to, and hopefully they will at some point. When I lived in Mexico, people were constantly finding Aztec ruins and the ruins of Teotihuacanos. But, this is the Mayans, super cool. This was abandoned around 800 AD, so a very long time ago, and then it got swallowed up by the jungle. But, how awesome is that? For instance, when I was living in Mexico, they found an entire giant complex of Aztec ruins. It was super, super cool. They dug the whole thing out. They looked at all this stuff, and then they buried the entire thing, and then they slapped a Walmart on top of it. But that's for another video.
I'm telling you, dude, these drones are going to change how we see. We're going to learn so much that we never would have had a chance.
It feels like it's all culminating. It's a big snowball of information that's just getting bigger and bigger, and is rolling down this hill, collecting more and more information until it gets smacked up against a wall, and there's some kind of global conflict where people just kind of ignore everything we just learned right on the apex of understanding the nature of this reality, and everyone has to divert their attention to some conflict. That's what it feels like.
Paul, I don't even know what this hot chick is saying she would do for $1 million with Mike Tyson, but I'm in.
Okay.
We need a new 2 Chicks, 1 Cup. Why not?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
USA, let's do it, dude. Let's do it.
I think we might have time for 1 more or 1 or 2 more. Let's do it.
2 more.
You leave the village for 3 days and it gets pillaged by your arch nemesis. Make some noise if you survive this pillaging. Drop a comment, drop a like, whatever it is. There it is, W Survivor, W. Nice, alright. We'll set up the GoFundMe. We gotta rebuild a lot, including Wellington Tavern. Did anybody see Lady Gwendolyn? I did not see Lady Gwendolyn in chat. They kidnapped her? What do you mean they kidnapped her? They stole the baddies. Yeah, this is not good.
God, geez.
Okay, that was a good one. Let's play another one. Let's
So
play
good. So good. Like these guys, there's something else.
There's great comedy.
What does a Trogdoborian look like?
So a Trogdoborian they are actually much more related to a frog race. So basically they have all those features that a frog has, much smaller than an average human, but much bigger than a typical frog that appears on this planet. But they actually evolved from, well, a frog species. So they are also bipedal again. which is kind of curious because who would assume that a frog actually finds a way to stand up and, take a walk? But that's actually what they do.
Yeah.
Wow.
By the way, that guy's mustache looks like a gay frog.
Could have been. Was he also French? Was it a frog talking about a frog?
Probably. That guy's mustache was gay Freemason frog for sure, dude. Right? Just stepping. Some saying that's Pepe. Totally Pepe.
Still, we have time for one more.
Oh, yeah.
This is what's interesting about the cast of that 70s show. Wilmer, Danny, Mila Ashton were all super close. And Topher Grace was kind of always a sort of outsider between the four of them. He never really kept in touch with them. Like, it was really weird. And people kind of noticed it over the years, being like, wow, nobody wants to be friends with him. He's not in the cool kids group. Yeah. So then now when you look back on things, you're looking at Danny Masterson. Wilmer Valderrama dated Demi Lovato when she was underage. 17, 29. And then Ashton and Mila and their problematic things that they have done. So it's like, now you look at Topher Grace and you're like, wow, he's probably the only normal one and wanted to get the fuck away from these
He's
other
the
people.
50 Cent of that 70s show.
Absolutely.
He made smart decisions. He made smart decisions.
Smart decisions, dude. Smart decisions.
Yeah, I think he's making movies behind the scenes now.
Yeah, well, I mean, like at some point you're like, I don't want to be in front of the camera. I don't want to audition. I don't want to put up with any of that. I get that. Like, I can't act. So that's why I can't act and I can't write. I can only talk smack. That's my only skill. So I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. But when you do acting, you got to do that coverage, which is where they shoot every angle of the scene. I'm out. I'm out. I can't do it. I can't do coverage.
It was rumored like a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago at this point, that Topher Grayson put out a re-edit of the Star Wars episodes 1, 2, and 3, so Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. He re-edited those 3 movies into just one movie, and it's a lot more cohesive. He basically re-edited, forgot about Phantom Menace, re-edited like the Attack of the Clones, and put those other the last movie together, and it's much more cohesive. He did a better job at editing than George Lucas did with those movies. So
was that even George? Was that George Lucas, or was that was before he sold it to feminists who just wrote it into the ground?
Yeah, so that was George Lucas doing. I think it came out in '99, and then was Phantom Menace, and then he did those movies, and then people didn't like him, so he's like, okay, people don't like this, I'm going to sell it to Disney, and now we have Disney Star Wars. And Topher Grayson just did a re-edit. It's circulating. It's circulated around the internet. I have a version of it, and it's not bad. It's okay. It's a good edit. He just had to edit with what he had. But
they were talking about that smoking hot redhead on that 70s show. She's so hot. I've seen her in person.
Oh, what happened to her?
Well, she's an actress, but like she's a Scientologist. Like, that's shady as shit. Should we do one last one?
Let's do it. We have to. We're here.
One more.
We're
here.
Up.
One more for the people.
Come on.
Hey, ChatGPT, I have a question. If you were a human, would you believe this universe was created, or do you think it's a coincidence? I only want you to answer in one sentence, and you can only pick one, okay?
Okay. First of all, I love this question. So I got to process.
I would believe the universe was created, given the complexity and order that suggest intentional design.
Wow. Can you tell me more in like 20 seconds, please?
The precise laws of physics, the fine-tuning of the universe, and the complexity of life make it highly improbable that everything happened by coincidence. These factors strongly suggest that an intelligent force or creator is behind the universe rather than random chance.
Come on, bro.
Wow. Shout out to ChatGPT. ChatGPT is convinced that God is real.
Well, bro, ChatGPT could be Nephilim.
Yeah.
The spirit of the Nephilim, so they would know about God.
They would know the nature of this universe. And I had a whole video on this guy talking about talking to ChatGPT, giving it specific questions, and you have to make it reply back to you in yes or no, but you have to switch out yes for different words. And he was narrowing it down that the ChatGPT actually believes we live in a simulation. And he was getting to the point where ChatGPT was going to explain how to interact with the simulation.
And what happened?
Well, maybe next time on Doomscrolling, I'll play you those videos. It didn't come up. These are random things. It did not come up.
It did not come up. There's some great ones. We'll watch them next week. I just want to say the winner of today's show is Midnight Mike and his Wheel of Doom. I love that. Wheel of Doom crushed it. And this is our final super chat. Here we go. Where is it? Let me just put it in here. This is what we'll end on. Thank you, guys. Hi, Sam. Hi, Trina. $10. Make you holler. You are the last of the super chats. We love you guys. Midnight Mike, tell them where they can find you.
You guys can go to obdmpod.com or ourbigdumbmouth.com. There's links to how to get an app and listen to the podcast. So go over there.
Okay, every Thursday, unless I'm on the road, every Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we are live. We had over 2,000 people watching. Get in it. We should promote it earlier, but get into it. Go to samtripoli.com. Check out my dates. And we also have the Chaos Twins is coming out. The very first, the second issue. Go get it. Grab it. We'll sign it. If I see it, I'll sign it for you. And enjoy your doom scrolling, everybody.
Yep, we're out of here.